Mayor Martin Pebu allowed to go home after leading his lawyers to visit the OSP upon invitation to file formal charges.
No, that one is yet to come. I hope that day doesn't come because I don't know what the trial will be. It's just a precautionary measure they are taking. What is that trial going to be? Like
TV show, they haven't charged you of anything.
As if they want. No.
We have more here on Top Story, brought to you always by Telecel, connecting energies, Holy Insecticide Spray and Coil. Enjoy Holy Sleep, and also by Shield Pension, trust into the future with you. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Now, the Special Prosecutor Kissi Adjebeng is to be invited to face parliamentary grilling over allegations of gross abuse of power. Majority Chief Whip Roxanne Nelson Dafiamakbo has accused Kissi Adjebeng's office of misusing its authority, citing the recent arrest of lawyer Martin Pegbu as a prime example. He is expected to be questioned by the House to explain his office's actions to Parliament. Now, the OSP arrested prominent lawyer and media commentator Martin Pegbu for allegedly obstructing an officer of the OSP. Speaking on the floor of Parliament, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamakbo insisted that the special prosecutor must come and explain to the House why he is weaponizing the powers of his office against citizens. We had a discussion in Parliament shortly, but first, let's go to the office where my colleague James Aveji has been stationed all day and joins me in studio with more. James, give us a blow-by-blow account of incidents since morning when you arrived at the OSP.
Well, Brace, the day started quite early for me and Martin Pegbu. I first caught up with him at the court complex where he's going to do some activities on his private legal practice. And he indicated to me, and then I had that exclusive interview with him at the court complex at about 10 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., where he indicated to me that he was scheduled to attend upon the OSP at 11 a.m. And so we left there to pitch camp at the OSP while we wait for him to conclude his processes at the court complex. And so at exactly 10:49 a.m., 11 minutes to 11 a.m., he drove himself in his car through the gate of the OSP to honor that invitation. And then later we picked that some of his counsels were in there waiting for him while others joined later. And so he was in the company of 3 different lawyers there at the OSP. And then they went into what we expect to be an interview. That's the right word they prescribe for it. An interview on the matter of allegation against the special prosecutor himself, Kissi Adjebeng, on the allegations he, Martin Pegbu, has raised against the SP on incompetence and corruption. And so that was the basis of his invitation. And so that's what we expected him to be interviewed on. It went on for 3 hours, some few minutes to 2 p.m. He came out. He actually didn't come out in person. Then I got the information that he was being whisked away in the company of officials of the OSP, and that they are whisking him away on the second subject that happened on Wednesday, where he's been alleged to have obstructed an officer of the OSP on duty, for which reason he was arrested, detained for a number of hours, and then now released at 2 p.m. And so the conversation has moved from his allegation against the SP to now what has transpired there yesterday, leading to his arrest and alleged obstruction of an officer on duty. And so they went away at about 2:30 p.m. in order to go and verify that bail condition of a landed property and a surety. So they went out at about 2:30 p.m. to go and do that verification.
And what was the outcome of that verification exercise?
They came back about an hour and a half later, went in, and when they came out and I found out from him, he indicated that they inspected his personal property, the house he lives in, and then a piece of land that he has provided as part of the bail process. And so earlier we heard that one landed property, but now it has turned into two different properties his house is living in, and then another piece of land that he has provided on that basis.
So eventually, cool heads prevailed, and then they dropped that one. So that took quite a chunk of the time.
So you didn't take them action?
No. Then the next thing we had to do was then to bring the surety. So one of my sureties was away. So it took maybe another 30 minutes. So we are accounting for the first 3 hours. Then when we are about moving, they said when we are done inspecting my residence and then the landed property I've given them, we should come back here. And you know, it's been a long day. Yesterday and today I'm exhausted, so we didn't see the reason for it. So that negotiation also took at least 30 minutes, but eventually we had to obey because they said that's the standard protocol they do. We must come back here. So this is how basically the first 3 hours went. Then we set out on the journey to go. Yes.
So just establish for us, when you went out there, what did you go to inspect, and how many of the sureties did they inspect in addition to the property you have produced?
So we did 3 things. 1, they inspected my residence. Okay. 2, they inspected the landed property I've provided. So for this exchange, a soldier insults a citizen, and then they turned the case on me. I had to provide landed property that they inspected. Then they took measurements. They want to go and verify. So they themselves have taken the coordinates to be sure that the document is not a fraudulent one. So
it should be a piece of land.
Yes. And then 3rd, we inspected the surety's residence. So 3 things we went to do, and then we came back.
So officially, they've granted you bail on that alleged obstruction of a security, an officer of the OSP.
Yes, absolutely. He's not an officer, he's a soldier. I don't think they are brought here to provide security. He's not an officer of the OSP, he's not an employee. They were brought in here by the military. I'm sure they requested, and I'm sure today you don't see the military here. That's an improvement. So, like they say, from time to time, the tree of democracy is watered with the blood of patriots and villains. So that's what I've suffered. But at least you see when we made noise about it. Today you don't find the soldiers there. We are abusing the military. The military are not to be used for safety.
Do you know the charge that has been leveled against him?
Well, Brace, as we speak, no official charges have been preferred against Martin Kpebu, and it is also not clear whether the OSP has an interest in preferring an official charge against him, and if the OSP will put him before court to be tried for any of those offenses. But this is his own reaction to that information.
So bringing soldiers to come and take over the work of the police here, it's not good. I'm not the only one.
I'm sure they might have listened to you and record them today. Yes. Is it safe to say that, have they officially charged you? When would they put you before court?
No, that one is yet to come. I hope that day doesn't come because I don't know what the trial will be. It's just a precautionary measure they are taking. What is that trial going to be? Like I said, witness this Marcelunis Bia. Oh, well, he's my lawyer, but he also saw it. He was one of the witnesses, because if the soldiers will also say the police are their witnesses, fine. But one thing was clear. I walked ahead of this. I'd gone past the soldiers, actually. They were in the security room. It was a policeman who was outside. I met him, bypass. There was nothing between here, and I no troubles. Then the first soldier called out to me, "You." Out of courtesy, I turned. Then he warned me that next time I won't allow you to do that. Then I shot back that you don't have any power to stop me. Then I continued walking. Then the next soldier also called out to me. He's the one who said he will show me power. Next time I do that, he will show me power. Then I said there's no power to do that.
Which led to the... Exactly.
What I'm saying is that, what was I obstructing? People who were behind me, like the way the way your cameramen are in front of us. So I have gone past them, going somewhere, like we say in Ghanaian English, into the reception. Then you call out. So where is the obstruction? It's interesting. We will see. It will pan out in court.
Okay. So they haven't charged you of anything?
Yes, if they want. No.
Well, let's talk about the substantive issue of his allegations against the special prosecutor, which, of course, was the reason he was invited to the place earlier. Was he interrogated on it today?
So, Brace, that didn't come up at all as far as today is concerned, even though that was the basis for his official invitation. The indication we get from him and his lawyers is that that matter didn't come up at all, because even if that had come up, he has raised objection to the constitution of that committee and insisted that only board members of the OSP he will speak to. Samida, who from the OSP, has told us that there is no substantive board constituted for the OSP as we speak, and so he does not, Martin Kpebu tells me he does not expect them to invite him on that matter again unless a board has been constituted. The next time he's invited, it should be about the new case that is on now for him to attend to. But as far as that substantive matter is concerned, nothing has been mentioned about it today as part of the conversations. Well,
let's take you to Parliament now, where just a while ago there was a heated debate on the recent actions of the Office of the Special Prosecutor. We're joined by our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Kweku Asante, with more. Kweku, let's start with the majority side, pushing for the House to invite the Special Prosecutor. What led to this?
Well, the Majority Chief with Roxy Nelson, the former said he had an urgent statement to make. And he in particular was very, very blunt about their anger about the conduct of the Special Prosecutor vis-a-vis Martin Kpebu's arrest yesterday. He described the entirety of the scenario as have been narrated as a gross abuse of power. And he says not only must the Special Prosecutor come before Parliament to answer questions if it becomes necessary, but Parliament must begin looking at processes to entirely abolish the office because it's not living up to the very purpose for which it was set up.
One of our seasoned lawyers, the lawyer Martin Kpebu, was invited by Office of the Special Prosecutor. He presented himself willingly, and somehow he got detained. Until about after 10 p.m., he was still in detention, and he was supposed to have been granted bail, given onerous bail terms. He should produce property, landed property and all that. Mr. Speaker, we cannot do this at this time. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has abused his powers in this matter. And I will not hesitate to say that this House, we created the office. And the Office of the Special Prosecutor, if it continues to abuse his powers, then we may have to abrogate it. Let me place this matter on record, that this House, we shall be inviting him to come and brief the House the circumstances under which he will detain a citizen under such whimsical circumstances. It is untenable. And yesterday, his conduct was frowned upon by the entire nation.
So, Kweku, I mean, we understand that the minority were not particularly in support of this particular this call.
Well, Kojo, who spoke right after the Majority Chief Whip, was that they are really not opposed about accountability, calling such state institutions to come and answer questions. They are not really perturbed about that. However, they think that there's a certain level of hypocrisy when it comes to the majority's calls, because they, the minority, including their leader himself, have been persistently talking about the conduct of Yoko, NIB, other security investigative bodies, who they also say are abusing their power. And whenever they've raised the matters on the floor, the majority side have brushed it aside. And so what is it about Martin Kpebu alone that is so big that that House should be taking such an interest in it? Not that they are against that, but they see that there's a certain hypocrisy in the way the majority, I should say, have been going about this particular call. You listen to Kojo Ponkroma.
It is not about the Office of the Special Prosecutor. It is about a culture that has crept into the investigative and law enforcement bodies in this country, where they invite you, and to quote the words of the Chief Whip, you appear on your own volition to assist them in investigations. Then they arrest and detain and put onerous bail conditions on you. Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, like we say in Twi, etua onyonku mua, etua biam, etua uhumu dia, etua nipem. To wit, Mr. Speaker, when it happens to somebody and he's complaining about it, you see absolutely nothing wrong with it. When it happens to you, now you complain. So, Mr. Speaker, if he wants to invite the special prosecutor to come and answer why his friend, and today he's complaining because it is his friend. The minority leader, Osahin, has been raising this matter over and over again, that the investigative bodies are weaponizing their powers, are imposing onerous bail conditions. In fact, Mr. Speaker, in instances where you don't even expect them to detain, because you've invited a man, he has appeared, he's provided information, you know where to find him. There's no basis to detain him. We on this side, if indeed they extend that invitation, I'm not sure we will object. We won't object to it. But perhaps our advice will be that all the other investigative bodies that are being weaponized, which have been complained about, which they turn a blind eye and a blind ear to, maybe, Chief Whip, you should add it so that we can do a non-partisan, diligent job in the interest of the public. Because precedents are being set, which will not be good for our democracy going forward.
How did the Speaker see this particular matter? Did he come into it?
Will you say that again?
I mean, how the Speaker got into? Did the Speaker wade into this particular matter?
No. At the time these matters were being discussed, Aban Bagbin was not in the seat. He was the second deputy speaker. Mm-hmm. Subsequent matters have come up with the calls for the Special Prosecutor's Office to be repealed and all of that. But at the time this particular incident was being discussed, Aban Bagbin was not in the chair.
That's a still top story. Let's bring in Professor Kojo Tua, who is Professor of International Law at the University of Ghana. Prof, I'm grateful to you for joining us here. Now, from the narration so far, I mean, why is Martin Pebo being given bail without a charge? Is that lawful?
Could you come again, please?
I want to find out from you that now that we know that Martin Pebo has been charged and given bail, why is he's not been charged yet? He's been given bail, and we're asking, why is he being charged? Being given bail without a charge? Is that lawful?
No, that is not. The procedure to follow is that an allegation should be made against somebody, and then investigations are conducted, and then after that, if there's enough evidence found, then the person is charged. Then we'll talk about whether the bail should come in or not. But of course, if the person is alleged to have committed an offense, then when the investigations are done and there is a possibility of finding some information which may confirm that some offense has been committed, then the bail process can be initiated. But in this case, we don't know the nature of the offense he's being charged of, and then they are asking for bail. So there seems to be some procedure which have not been properly followed yet.
So we are saying that the Office of the Special Prosecutor, engaged in an unlawful act per the narration so far.
Yes, I would say so. And the other issue is that if the person was asked to come and give some information, and the person has not been charged with respect to the issue of corruption that he seems to be claiming against the office or the special prosecutor. The question is there a link between that and the bail issue that has come up now? Because if there is some connection, then it will even make the case even worse in terms of violating the rights of Mr. Pebo. Because we are looking at it in due respect. Is it about the obstruction of justice that is being arrested and being interrogated and the bail issue coming up? And if so, why is it that he's not being charged? Or is it in connection with the corruption allegations he's making against the special prosecutor.
Well,
If that is the case, the person is only considered here as a person of interest. So it means that he's not a suspect. He's not being charged. And so the issue of whether he should be arrested doesn't come in at all.
But so how grave is it then if the person we expect to know the law then says, I am giving you a bail when the person has not been charged? Hello, Prof.
Hello.
I'm asking that this is the office of the special prosecutor, the one who is mandated to fight corruption. If they have given someone bail without a charge, and you say that's unlawful, and the fact that he's been invited again today to face the OSP on the same action, how grave is it?
Well, it's serious because even if we are talking about the obstruction of the work of a police officer, I understand it is not a police officer who he had the altercation with. It's a
military officer, yes.
Of course, the military officer can also perform some security functions. So supposing that's the case, this is a misdemeanor. And for a misdemeanor, we all know Martin Pebu, and I'm not sure he will be a flight risk or you interfere with investigations and so on. So what he can be put on a self-recognizance bail, for example. And if he's asked to reappear for an investigation in connection with that matter, I'm sure he will come in and respond to the question. So it's marks of some sort of power play here.
Can this be equated to an abuse of office?
It seems so. That's why I think that this issue could have been handled differently, and it wouldn't have escalated to this level.
Can this then serve as grounds enough for someone to say, because of this, I'm asking for him to be removed? I mean, the SP himself.
Well, I disagree with that with Mr. Kwebu on the grounds that I think that the minimum threshold to trigger that process, I don't think has been met. So there could be other means. Of course, I would say that Mr. Adjebeng has committed some missteps, but I don't think it goes to the extent where we can call for his removal from office.
But how does this play into all of the petitions we've heard that are calling for his head? How does this make it a bit more easier for the process to begin for his removal?
Well, you see, that is where we begin to question again the procedures for removal from office of such independent institutions that are supposed to contribute to accountability in the governance system that we have. Because it is just about submitting a petition to the president, and then the president is required to forward it to the Chief Justice, and then the Chief Justice will do the prima facie case and determine if such a case is established. Then he sets up a committee, and then the committee will sit on the matter and make his findings to the president, who is required to obey the findings of the committee. It is too weak and it's subject to abuse. And so in this case, it may lead to the removal of the special prosecutor from office. And that will certainly signal a weakening of the institutional mechanisms that have been put in place in the constitution and the laws of the country to check on any excesses that the executive can commit.
Okay, so lawyer, now that we understand that Martin Pebu has been charged with obstruction, what else should be the next line of action? Hello.
Hello. Has he been charged now?
We understand he's been charged with obstruction.
Okay. And your question is?
What is next? I mean, he's been charged with obstruction. He's been given bail. What is next on this particular matter?
Well, I think it has mixed up the two issues. The main issue, which is the corruption issue, because, for example, today I haven't heard of the special prosecutor continue with the discussions with Mr. Pebu. It has all centered on the obstruction charge. So it means that the principal issue, which should be of interest to us, has been sidelined. But with regard to the case itself, investigations will need to proceed. The matter, again, here's the difficulty here, because it looks as if part of the investigation is being done by the Office of Special Prosecutor. But this matter, probably it will be referred to the police for the police to take care of it, because that is the proper function of the police, so that they will determine if they have enough evidence. Oh, in this case, I think they have the evidence, so that's why they're charging. So the next thing is to proceed to court, and then for the court to determine the culpability or otherwise of Mr. Pebu.
Okay, do stay with me, because I'm learning that we've been joined on the line by Sami Dak, who is Director of Strategy at the OSP, to help us, much more into what the OSP is doing. Sami, confirm for us that Mr. Martin Pebu has been charged with obstruction. Hello, Mr. Dakun. Hello, Mr. Dakun. All right, we've been joined on the line by Sami Dakun, who is Director of Strategy.
I can hear you.
Great. So I want a confirmation of the fact that Martin Pebu has been charged with obstruction.
Yes, I will confirm that to you. But also, you notice that for almost 5 to 7 minutes, we have been misleading the professor on whether he has been charged or not. Especially, I also listened to your reporter giving a lot of misleading and inaccurate information. This has been precisely the problem. When media houses
that is why we have you. That's why we have you to correct it.
I'm going to correct that, but I need to also say that when we mislead experts, they are confused and unable to properly place the matter in context. So if your reporter had been there, and I know that Martin Pebu will usually come with his own media so that he can talk to them before he goes in, when he comes out and all that, it's fine. Everybody is allowed to do that, but he should be honest enough and tell them that I have been charged. Okay. I don't understand how we also don't understand that a person is charged before they are given bail. That charge is that is an internal charge. So we have a charge where then you are sent to court, right? So you are charged with an offense. So obstruction of officers of their lawful duty, contrary to Section 69 of the OSP Act 959. He was long ago told about this. Was yesterday. That's the reason why you then be granted bail. So last night there were a lot of incidents, and so the bail could not be effected. So today the bail was effected, and now he's been granted while investigation continues, and he'll be reporting in between till investigations are concluded. And lastly, because I heard that Parliament would want SP to come and explain, I'm saying that this would even be a wonderful opportunity for the Special Prosecutor to explain to Ghanaians exactly what has happened. So all is welcome. The OSP must be allowed to do its work, not because your favorite has been touched, not because today is about this person. Let the OSP do its lawful work. It knows how to do its work and is doing its work. If people are uncomfortable with how the OSP is operating, there are a lot of avenues you can do. For instance, Martin Pebu is a lawyer and should know that if you have allegations of corruption against the Special Prosecutor, you either file a petition, but you will not file a petition, you will not give any evidence to even Ghanaians. And every day you are mentioning that he is corrupt, and no iota of truth to it. And the media won't even demand what is backing this allegation of corruption. Okay. I can't just say that you, Kojo Brace, is a murderer, and I won't say any other thing to it. And I just say you are a murderer. It's wrong. I don't know the kind of society we want to cultivate because we love soundbite. I don't know.
Fortunately, we have Martin Pebu himself on the line. Let me find out from you, Martin. At what point in time did you know that you've been charged with obstruction?
No, I've not been charged. Sami Daku said he will verify. So maybe you should go and check and then we'll see. I'm not aware that I've been charged.
No, he's told us today. He told us now categorically that you've been charged and you were told.
No. There's a difference. No, there's a difference between a caution statement. Caution means they will warn you when you are arrested. Then you'll be warned that look, now you are under arrest. You can make a statement, or you can keep quiet. But if you make a statement, they will write it down. Blah blah blah. So is that one that yesterday we went through? I don't know this thing about charging, etc. He himself at a point he said he will verify. So I don't want to hold it against him. But he shouldn't also mislead the public by saying you get bail only when you've been charged. That's wrong. That's not good civil procedure. Yeah, but sometimes you can be brought in, you've not been charged, and you are given bail. Or even sometimes it's not bail is upon caution. When you say you are under arrest, this, you are done, then you do the caution statement. And then you grant bail. Even sometimes they don't do the caution statement. They can just read your Miranda right after the arrest. They will grant you bail and take the caution statement later. So Sami Daku himself should stop. You see how he's always trying to pontificate. Sami Daku is always trying to file fault with other lawyers and other commentators. It's wrong.
Well, Martin, he says and he knows that you've been charged. Let's find out from him. Sorry, when is the OSP going to put Martin Pebu before court based on the charge that he's been charged with by office?
So I'm very happy that he's also explained to you. The only reason I called him was the misleading information that you were putting to the expert.
No, Sammy, hold on. He has also said that he has not been charged. So
no,
on that basis,
misleading information was that a person cannot be granted bail if he has not been charged.
But okay,
he has just explained to you that he has been arrested on the offense of obstruction of justice, contrary to Section 69 of the OSP Act. And on that basis,
no, hold on. Let me, Sammy, hold on. Let me admit that he said those, but he says he has not been charged, contrary to what you say.
Yeah, but you guys are not getting it. What we mean is that he has been formally notified of the offense for which he's been investigated. On that basis,
no, Sammy, let us be fair.
No,
once you're all educating the public, you said that he has been charged. You said that.
If you take your time and listen,
I have taken my time. I am just asking you based on what you said.
There are two forms of charges. I said that we have not charged him as in place him before court, but we have told him of the offense for which he's been investigated, and his statement has been taken. That is what I was referring to, because you were confusing the professor by telling the professor that can a person be granted bail if the person has not been charged? And the professor told you that no. And I'm saying that you were misleading the professor because he has been cautioned and his statement has been taken, and the offense for which he's been investigated has been told him, and on that basis he has been granted bail.
Well,
that is the process. He has not been charged as in he has not been placed before a court of law.
Earlier, that was not this. But anyway, let's leave it there. The public will be the best judges. But when are you putting Martin Pebu before court?
I mean, prosecutors and investigators are always going through a number of things. Let's not rush them. It's the same thing we did anytime the OSP is investigating a matter. We are rushing. When they go to court, they are saying that you went to court late or you did this. Let's allow investigators to do their work. I'm sure that when they are done with their work, whatever needs to happen, Ghanaians will be made to know. And again, let's tell Ghanaians, this is separate from the inquiry into his allegations that he's not been able to substantiate. It's different. Let's not confuse the two.
We haven't done that.
With an obstruction of justice.
We have clearly differentiated between the two, Sammy.
From the original work that is being done.
Well, thank you. We have clearly differentiated between the two. Here, Sammy Daku is the director in charge of strategy at the OSP. This has been Top Story, brought to you by Telecel, Holding Sensei Spray and Coil, and also by Shield Pension Trust. My name is Samuel Brace. Up next is News Night.
And coming up tonight, we continue the conversation about the OSP with a rare bipartisan consensus in Parliament on calls to repeal the law setting up the office of the Special Prosecutor, as Majority Leader Mahama Yarga leads attempts to abolish the office.
And I received a call not quite long ago that he has been taken to court, and as we speak, he is actually in court being arraigned.
We have details as Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagbin says there has not been value for all the money invested in the office since it was set up.
I want to take this opportunity to condemn in no uncertain terms the attack on the team of security officers who have been assigned to help deal with the menace of Galamsey.
Also, Joe News research shows the OSP has been allocated over 1.1 billion cedis since its inception. More plus analysis on Newsnight. Also, there's a standoff between the government and the Trades Union Congress over demands of renegotiation of the 2026 minimum wage and base pay following the Public Utilities Regulatory Commission's announcement of new utility tariff hikes.
Well, you cannot give somebody 9 cedis and ask him to go and pay 24 cedis. So the best option for you is to take your 9 cedis that you have slapped on us. Then you'll be okay with it. Otherwise, we will resist the operationalization of these increases in this country.
Coming up in business.
Bank of Ghana declines request for extension of Managing Director of ARB Apex Bank, Alex Kosiewua contract.
And in sports.
Joy Sports set for on-match coverage of the 2026 World Cup drawn Joy Prime tomorrow.
And a bit later, President John Mahama issues strong warning to criminal networks, declaring that Ghana will not surrender a single street, community or public space to criminals.
I will give Bosomi flowers.
To those who insist on disturbing the peace of our nation, whether through armed robbery, organized crime, illegal arms trafficking or gang activity, our message is simple. The Ghanaian state is ready. The Ghana Police Service is ready.
We have more as the IGP says the police service has put in place comprehensive security arrangements ahead of the Christmas season. We've got the latest of these and many other stories coming up in the next 1 hour. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.
My name is Ofori.
Send us your thoughts and comments on our WhatsApp platform is 055 11 11 997. Details coming up shortly. Don't go anywhere.
Abeg, fix me go betete Ghana. No garri, no oil, no plantain, just beans then eggs.
Hey, brah, that be dangerous combination, no.
Problem no day. I fit handle am.
For Telecel, with the Bob say everybody gets what they like. That be why Made For Me bundles day. Based on your usage, you fit get your own data and call packages. Fala! Made For Me bundles like the way you want them. That *530# then buy Made For Me bundles today.
Telecel. Connecting energies.
Accra, Ghana! ACCRA! Here we go! GT Bank is back with the mega Proudly African GT concerts. And this year, we're taking it to a whole new level. Ghana, Niger, 2 countries, 1 stage, endless energy. Shatta Wale, Sarkodie, Ira Star, King Promise, Pato Ranking, R2Bs, Joe Boy, Fireboy. We're lighting up Friday, December 19th at the Accra Sports Stadium, and it's absolutely free. The biggest names in music with DJ Obi from Niger and DJ Viroski from Ghana on a hype thing. MC Darlington and Kojo Manuel. 7 p.m. Friday, December 19th, Accra Sports Stadium. The concert everyone's talking about. The Proudly African GT Concert 2025. We lights up December, and it's absolutely free.
In December 2023, the biggest play in the history of African theatre made its debut.
Before the God of Iron, I stand on oath.
You saw it.
We sent you all the way to Ileife to bring us greetings from Ifa.
By popular demand, and in honor of Maoli Semevo. Image Bureau, in partnership with April Communications and the National Theatre, presents The Gods Are Not to Blame this December 17th, 7 p.m., 18th, 7 p.m., and 19th, 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. at the National Theatre. Visit www.imagebureaugh.com or dial star 714 star 46 hash for your tickets. Single 250 cedis, double 400 cedis. Supported by New Plant Car Rentals, Ghana Tourism Authority, Balakwa, Graphic Communications Group, M Notify. Sponsors: The Luckiest, Stanbic Bank, Joy FM, Hits FM, Joy Prime TV, and proudly brought to you by MTN.
Get ready for an unforgettable night, an evening of prestige, glamour, and pure celebration of excellence. The Ghana Real Estate Developers Association, GREDA, presents the GREDA Awards and Dinner Night 2025. Come and be part of the biggest night in Ghana's real estate industry as we celebrate milestones under the theme Resetting the Housing Agenda under the 24-hour economy. GREDA Government Collaboration. Date Saturday, 6th December 2025. Time 6:30 p.m. on the dot. Venue Kempinski Hotel, Gold Coast City, Accra. Special guest of honor, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Special guest in attendance, Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Alban Bagbing. Be a part of a historical night and book your seat. For inquiries, call 024-130-1973 or 024-803-1533 or visit greaterghana.org. The Greater Awards and Dinner Night, celebrating distinction, building the future.
No matter where we are, Africa always calls us home. And here in Ghana, the call is clear: to power growth and create lasting impact. At Stanbic Corporate and Investment Banking, we are creating giants and connecting businesses. From financing bold energy projects to enabling cleaner, reliable power for industries, we are fueling Ghana's transformation. With our support, Gensa Energy is delivering sustainable energy that powers Goldfields operations, helping them move closer to cleaner, greener mining. This is a story of how we bring businesses together, create jobs, empower communities, and invest in the next generation. Stanbic Bank, delivering sustainable growth, creating impact. To learn more, visit stanbicbank.com.gh.
And this is where we begin tonight, because there's a rare bipartisan consensus in Parliament to repeal the law that set up the office of the Special Prosecutor, as the office comes under intense public scrutiny. Majority Leader Mahama Yarga, speaking on the floor, insisted that the office is clearly unconstitutional, a view he espoused at the time the office was set up. He says it is time the office was abolished.
Mr. Speaker, the office has been in existence for how many years now? Close to 8 years. Tell me, what is really the achievement of that office? What has been the achievement of that office? I cannot see my way clear in terms of the achievement of that office. I have consistently held the position that fighting corruption is not about littering the place with institutions. It is the political commitment of those who lead that fights corruption, not the designations of institutions that have been established. I believe that it is high time that this Parliament reconsiders its decision to approve the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. I think that we should abolish it. I honestly think we should abolish it, because we've experimented it and we cannot see any achievement. Major cases of clear corruption. Up to date, the office has not been able to do anything. So it cannot do anything. If the institution of Attorney General that we established in our Constitution is adequately resourced and protected by Parliament and held accountable by Parliament, I believe that that office will equally deliver. no ministry, no office is established. If you look at the cabinet, no office is expressly established by this constitution apart from the Attorney General and Minister for Justice. But I think that it is high time we realize that that constitutional experiment is futile. To say that because the Attorney General is appointed by the President and is a member of a political party, that he will not be functional or effective in fighting corruption. The OSP, is he coming from space? Who is nominating him? The same political process is going to generate the occupant of the office of Special Prosecutor. So he will not be freed of that political pressure.
And that was the Majority Leader, Mahama Ayariga, speaking on the floor of Parliament. Let's take you live to the House now, and Parliamentary Affairs Correspondent Kwekwa Asante joins us with details. Kwekwa, so what really led to all these talks today about the OSP in the House? Unfortunately, we don't have a parliamentary correspondent, Kwekwa Asante. We are trying to rework the lines to speak with him. The story is that there's been a rare bipartisan consensus in Parliament to repeal the law that set up the office of the Special Prosecutor, as the office comes under intense public scrutiny. Well, earlier we heard the Majority Leader, Mahama Ayariga, speaking on the floor, and he's insisting that the office be abolished. Let's go back to our Parliamentary Affairs Correspondent, Kwekwa Asante. Kwekwa, so I was just asking, before we lost you, I was asking what led to all these talks in Parliament today?
Well, earlier, the Majority Chief Whip had raised issues with the arrest of Martin Pebu. We covered that on Top Story. He had raised the issues with what they called abuse of the powers of the OSP, and in particular highlighted the efforts that will be taken to invite him to come before Parliament and explain what led to the conduct that we witnessed yesterday. And so that matter had really gone to bed until the Speaker of Parliament himself came to take the chair. And there were conversations about some of the allocations that have been made to institutions and all of that. The Speaker of Parliament chipped in with certain comments about the fact that he did not believe that the office of the Special Prosecutor in particular has lived up properly to the amount of money that has been invested into it. Just yesterday, Parliament approved nearly 160 million Ghana cedis for the office. In previous years, there were years that he had even gotten 200 million and over. The concern from the Speaker of Parliament is that the office has simply not lived up to the purpose for which it was set up and the funds that have been invested over the years. Listen to the Speaker of Parliament.
In fact, this morning I heard you talking about one of them, that is the OSP. And if you recall, during the deliberation on the OSP, a number of us stated on the floor of this House that there's no constitutional basis. But we wanted to signal to the world that we are going to fight corruption. At the end of the day, we have seen the results. And we cannot continue to allocate that huge sums to the same office when we are not getting the results. This is one of the agencies we should be looking at. It's getting almost the same amount like the Attorney General's Department. Please, let's face the bull by the horns and make sure that the right thing is done. And so I agree with the Majority Leader.
And Kwekwa, there was a view of the minority on this.
In fact, when this matter came up and the Majority Leader wanted to resurrect the matter and he was speaking, the Speaker cut him short and said that, these matters had already been discussed. But the minority front bench actually said that these were interesting matters. They should go ahead and discuss it. And so after the Majority Leader had spoken, we heard from Samuel Abujinapo, who really did not really give an inkling that the minority were fully in support of this. However, he said that the NDC had the numbers, and if they were so minded to do this, that they should bring the law and do so in Parliament.
He, as member of Parliament, member of the 8th Parliament, the Speaker, he said he opposed the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. And he indicates that his party, the NDC, opposed the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. I have just indicated the policy rationale or the policy motivation
for the establishment of that office by the Akufo-Addo government. Mr. Speaker, you yourself, you've indicated that you were also opposed to it. Mr. Speaker, today, the political party that opposed the establishment of the office, the member of that political party who opposed it in the 8th Parliament, today majority leader, leader of government business, in the wisdom of the Ghanaian people, they have given them a super majority. Super majority. They have majority in this house. They have a super majority. Why? What's happening? What's happening in our country, Mr. Speaker? You just made that point about allocation. And you made a point about reset and the fact that we may struggle with the reset. Too much talking. The country needs action. If you believe the office of Special Prosecutor is not fit for purpose, you have the majority, you call us micro-minority, we are mighty minority indeed. Repeal it! What are you waiting for? 1 year down the road, we are still being given sermons and being given lectures and being told that this office is unconstitutional. Mr. Speaker, because with the greatest of respect, one of their own was touched.
Well, Johnny's research shows that the OSP has been allocated over 1.1 billion cedis since its inception. Let's get a breakdown from Johnny's lead researcher, Kofi Adjebeng. Now, Kofi, thank you for joining us here on Newsnight. Walk us through how much has been allocated to the OSP since its inception.
Well, so we've been tracking the OSP allocation since 2018, and if we tabulate from 2018 to 2026, in terms of looking at how much the OSP will be allocated even next year, the total from 2018 to 2026 is about 1.199 billion Ghana cedis, so approximately 1.2 billion cedis allocated to the OSP since 2018.
And walk us through these allocations in each of these years.
Well, so if you take a look at 2018, for instance, that was the year that saw the lowest allocation. It was just around 3.8 million Ghana cedis. By 2019, this figure had been increased to 180 million cedis, and since then, the average has been around 160 million, Ghana cedis. If you look at 2025, for instance, the total budgetary allocation for the OSP is around 158 million Ghana cedis. We are looking at the compensation of employees budget. It means that out of this 146.7 million Ghana cedis, about 50% of that budget, of the OSP's budget this year, is expected to be used for the payment of salaries and wages or compensation of employees. About 54.9 million of that is expected to go for goods and services, and capital expenditure is around 20 million Ghana cedis. But essentially, majority of the OSP's budget for this year and the years that we have seen, on the average, about 50% has been for the wages and salaries of that office.
And finally, let's compare the OSP's budget to other anti-corruption agencies. What do we have?
So, within that same period, where the OSP has been allocated 1.2 billion between 2018 and 2026, you have the AG's office also having, a similar budget to the OSP, even though the AG's office or the Ministry of Justice and Attorney General, under its budget has the EOCO also draws its budget from the AG. The Registrar General's Department also draws its budget from the AG, and the law school as well all draw their budgets from the AG. But the AG, within this period that we are analyzing, its budgetary allocation has been around 2.7 billion Ghana cedis. SRAJ is way below the budgetary allocation for the OSP between 2018 and 2026. It is less than half of OSP's budget. Around 531 million Ghana cedis. EOCO, on the other hand, is also way below the budget allocation for the OSP since 2018. EOCO's is around 282 million Ghana cedis, while the OSP's budget has been around 1.2 billion cedis.
Isaac Ofori, thank you so much for that breakdown. He's Joe News lead researcher.
Well, let's bring in Edem Senane, who is an anti-corruption crusader, and Kofi Bentel, who is a senior vice president at Imani Africa. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time this evening. Edem, you have always backed the OSP, and now there's a bipartisan approach in Parliament. Members from both the minority and majority are calling for its abolishment. What do you have to say to that?
Well, I think it's always about the arguments that are at the table. A question on my mind is whether the circumstances that birthed the OSP have changed. I heard the majority speaker talk about how allowing or equipping the AG with all that money would make a difference. That the argument that the AG would not be able to prosecute his own is virtually neither here nor there. It's difficult to agree with the majority speaker on that. I think we should be cautious. We set up this office specifically because we're worried about politicians who take our country and with impunity begin to siphon up resources that otherwise could be channeled into development. I'm not quite sure that any attorney general, and the historical records had already shown that. That's why we're willing to go with this kind of arrangement. I think also if we're going to make any comparisons, we should remember that the Office of the Special Prosecutor is now being developed. Unlike some of its peers, whether YOCO, BNI, CID, TRAJ, that were already in existence, had offices and buildings across the country. This is being built from scratch. So if you want to do a financial comparison, you need to keep that in mind. Otherwise, you are comparing oranges with apples, and that may not give us the right conclusions.
Adam, and of course, this crusade is being championed largely by the majority in Parliament. Let me bring in Kofi Bentel. He's the senior vice president at Imani Africa. When Martin Pegbu was arrested and subsequently discharged, he said that this is the final nail in the coffin for the office of the Special Prosecutor. In fact, the Special Prosecutor Kissi Adjebeng to go. Do you think that with this new crusade coming from Parliament, the majority side, it is a culmination of things that the OSP has failed to do, and really finally what happened with the issue with Martin Pegbu that has resulted in the voices coming from Parliament saying that it should be scrapped?
Well, thank you. But please, let's be clear and let's put things in a proper context. Very few people are calling for the abolition of the office of the Special Prosecutor. Many people are saying the person occupying the office, as in the Special Prosecutor, is misconducting himself. The two are very different.
Thanks for that correction. But today, what is coming from Parliament is that the majority side of the House are supporting a total abolishment of the OSP office completely.
Let me learn. I'm laying the foundation so you get it right. I haven't heard anybody, apart from the politicians on both sides, calling for the abolition of the office of the Special Prosecutor. But the rest of the country, most of us are saying the Special Prosecutor, the person, is the one committing errors that should not be pardoned. And I'm saying the two are different. The next point I need to make is this. The politicians on both sides have never supported the setting up of the office of the Special Prosecutor. Some of us were part of the discussion from the beginning after President Kufuor's time. It was opposed by every one of them from all sides, because essentially that office was set up to prosecute politicians, because a lot of the corruption was coming from politicians, especially the executive. And we have had 50 years of experience that the Attorney General, who is a political appointee coming out of cabinet, appointed by a president, has never been able to prosecute their own properly. We have had very few exceptions. Okay, even today, you have a situation where when a new Attorney General comes into office, they issue knowledge protocols across the board to free their colleagues. So look, we have an experience running 50 years Based on that, we set up this office. And let's be clear, the OSP's office is less than 10 years old. We cannot say that because somebody made a mistake here and there for, a few years, we should abolish the whole experiment. And let us also be clear that the OSP office is part of a wider arrangement. We just did that first because the corruption was too much. But the idea is that the government is one, the executive which is elected is another entity. Presidents come and go every 4 years. So even in the last government, the president appointed the President's Council. And we have always said that this whole idea of one Attorney General who is advising the President, who is advising the state, who is prosecuting everybody, and who is also the solicitor advising on contracts and etc., it's not working because things have become complex. So we need to have an independent solicitor general advising government on contracts and things, an independent prosecutor, which is currently the OSP, and then we can have a President's Council who can be a political appointee to advise the government. The point we must make is this: it is too early to talk about abrogating that office. And the people who are calling for it are actually, in a sense, the targets. We citizens must be careful when the politicians band together. With all due respect to them and everything, we must be sure that what they are asking for is not self-serving. The special prosecutor is different from the office.
Right.
If we have a problem with the special prosecutor, let's deal with it. We can always change them. Okay. But the office must remain.
Kofi Bentil is the senior vice president of Imani Africa. And earlier we heard from Edem Senane, who is an anti-corruption campaigner. And the minority are on the fence of this particular push for the abolishment of the OSP. But the majority side of the House are leading this crusade.
And let's move away from OSP-related matters. And there is a standoff between government and the Trades Union Congress as the union intensifies pressure over the latest utility tariff adjustment. The TUC is demanding a renegotiation of the 2026 minimum wage and base pay or a withdrawal of the newly announced tariff increases. This comes in the wake of the PRRC's recent announcement of a 9.8% hike in electricity tariffs and 15.9% for water, expected to take effect on January 1, 2026. The same day government 9% adjustment to the minimum wage and the base pay comes into force.
Well, the TUC insists workers cannot absorb the tariff hikes under the current wage structure, warning that anything short of renegotiation will lead to a mobilization of workers to resist what it calls harsh and insensitive increases. We'll hear from them shortly, but first listen to Labour and Employment Relations Minister Rashid Pelpo, who says government is open for discussions.
But that's not the way to negotiate. That's not the way to talk. Where there are issues, don't say either you do this or this. We have opened up for discussions. Let us see exactly what you are looking for. Let's see what it is that is hurting you. And let's all work together to achieve that understanding and that specific objective for which we are talking. I think that the face of our interaction must change. In the past, you see people trying to even go on strike without getting to closer discussion. We respect TUC a lot, and we believe that that cooperation that we enjoy from them should continue to take place.
Meanwhile, the Secretary General of the TUC, Joshua Ansah, insists government must either withdraw the tariff increases entirely or return to the negotiation table to enhance the 2026 wage adjustment.
As for the two options that we stated in our statement, we want to consider the complete withdrawal of the tariff increases. We are not even interested in the top-up of the salary. But if government thinks that it cannot withdraw, then there's a need for government to renegotiate the 9%. Because you cannot give somebody 9 cities and ask them to go and pay 24 cities. So the best option for you is to take your 9 cities that you have slapped on us. Then you'll be okay with it. Otherwise, as stated, we will resist the operationalization of these increases in this country.
You're listening to Newsnight. It's time for business, and George Uyafe is here. George, what do we have?
Well, coming up in business, Bank of Ghana declines request for extension of Managing Director of ARB Apex Bank, Alex Kasewua's contract. Economist Dr. Duo Susakode warns government not to be complacent despite significant progress made on slowing inflation to the single-digit range. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all your office essentials, Sinter's tanks and Pepsodent, Herbal and Charcoal.
The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Shout! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information.
MTN.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom. And my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first port of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office,
Takweje, Osu near the Osu Cemetery, Temania Community 4, Takoradi opposite Vijay Mays Plaza, Cape Coast University Bookshop, Spintex Road near Absa Bank, Atomic Centerpoint Mall, Winneba University Campus, KNUST, the University Bookshop, and Santasi in Kumasi. You can also visit our shop online, www.kingdomstoreonline.com. Hurry while stock lasts. For further inquiries, contact us on 050-162-0810 or 0302-764-101. Email info@kingdomgh.com. Kingdom Books and Stationery Limited, where quality and affordability is assured. Terms and conditions apply.
At Star Oil, we believe fuel is not just a commodity, it is a lifeline. Every cedi saved at the pump is a cedi that helps a mother send her child to school. A farmer transports food to the market, or a young entrepreneur deliver their first order. Our mission is to make fuel more accessible by offering consistently competitive prices, helping ease the financial burden on Ghanaian households. In a country where transportation costs can consume nearly a third of household income, this is not just business. It's a social responsibility. Star Oil, still quality and affordable fuels for all.
For many years, we've been solving Ghana's water storage problems with quality tanks. Sintex tank. You know, it is strong, it's tough, and reliable. And now, we're in to solve the #1 problem when it comes to water carriage: our pipes. With the state-of-the-art machinery, Sintex is providing very strong, tough, reliable, high quality, and durable pipes at a reasonable price. This is Sintex Pipes. With Sintex Pipes, water flows wow. I mean, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. If they carry water, no wahala. With Sintex Pipe, our water problems are solved. Sintex, are you strong? Are you tough?
Brushing gets more fun with your kids with the new Pepsodent Kids toothpaste. Give your smiles protection that lasts. Grab yours today from a store near you. This advert is FDA approved.
This year is going to be sweet. I don't just feel it, I know it, because the Luckiest Season 3 is back.
And I'm about to show you how to grab your golden ticket. Just dial *712# and follow the prompts to purchase your ticket. Or go to theluckiestafrica.com, hit community tickets, and pick your lucky number.
Or let the system do its magic. Choose how much you want to spend from 1 to 5,000 Ghana cedis. You can even buy a ticket for someone else. Be someone's hero. Payment? Easy. Mobile money in Ghana or card if you're international.
One ticket can turn 1 CD into 500 times more. That's maths we love. Or your community go win 10 times more. So let's get lucky together because luck is everywhere.
Every mosquito standing run away.
This advert is FDA approved.
You welcome back to Business on Newsnight. Now, Bank of Ghana has declined a request seeking to extend the contract of the current managing director of ARB Apex Bank, Alex Kissi Adjebeng. The managing director wanted a no objection to renewal of his contract. Workers of the institution had in recent times been pushing for an immediate resolution of the issue, warning that any delay could result in some industrial action and staff agitations. But speaking to Joy Business, head of communications at the Bank of Ghana, Bernard Otabel, says the regulator could not grant his request.
Well, the whole idea is, as a regulator, we have processes and procedures that we follow. If the workers have expressed any concerns to us, or they have met us to discuss the issue, perhaps they would have understood it a bit more from the perspective where we are coming from. But be it as it may, they are governed by a board. ARB Apex Bank PLC is governed by a board. They have a management structure. They have a governance structure. The board chairman has actually spoken to us in terms of, through the letter that I mentioned earlier, and expressing his willingness and or his acceptance of the letter that we sent to him and the decision that the central bank has come to. So I believe that within their own internal arrangement, whatever needs to be communicated to the workers would be done, and therefore there's nothing untoward going on. So there's no problem at all.
Based on this action, can we say that this chapter should be closed because, as a regulator of this industry, you have moved to address all these concerns?
The chapter is closed. It's definitely closed.
Bernard Otabel is Director of Communications at the Bank of Ghana. Now, commercial banks have indicated that they would move quickly to adjust their lending rates in the coming days. Now, this was after the Ghana reference rate, which acts as a benchmark for certain interest rates, dropped to 15.9%. John Iwa is Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks, and he has been speaking to Joy Business.
The lending rates from the commercial banks will definitely come down in whatever period from now on when the new Ghana reference rate has been published. So if you have a facility with a bank that is benchmarked to the reference rate, you definitely will be experiencing a reduction in your lending rate. As you may know, the Ghana reference rate is published once a month. We published the most recent one yesterday, that is Wednesday, the 3rd of December 2025. And the publication on Wednesday took into account the reduction in the policy rate, and that is what has resulted in the Ghana reference rate coming down from 17.86 to 15.9. So as we speak now, as of now, if you are approaching a bank for a facility, the rate reduction will definitely be reflecting. And if you have a facility already with the banks, and as you said in your introduction, which is benchmarked, which is a variable rate facility, obviously you are also going to experience a reduction in the interest rate on that loan.
Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewa. Now, economist Dr. Edu Osisa-Akodie has charged government not to be complacent despite the significant progress made in slowing inflation to the single digit. Inflation for the month of December dropped to 6.3%, the lowest since 2021. But Dr. Edu Osisa-Akodie has maintained that despite the progress, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done.
Food inflation is still higher than the non-food inflation. So it means that in terms of food management, there's a lot to be done as a country. If you take the imported inflation, local inflation is higher than the imported inflation. There are some challenges that we must address with respect to transportation, storage. The regional breakdown also indicates to us that some regions are doing far better than others. In fact, I checked all the 16 regions. 8 regions have their inflations higher than the average of 6.3, and the remaining 8 regions have their inflations lower. But other, regions like Northeast, Eastern region, Volta region, Northern region are experiencing double-digit inflation.
And that is an economist, Dr. Edu Osisa-Akodie. Now, Deputy Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Rich Jan Mensah, has rallied governments, investors, and young innovators to seize the emerging opportunities in the region's rapid expanding power market. Now, speaking at the West African Energy Corporation Summit in Accra, he raised the need or highlighted the need of demand for power, which requires the needed investments.
Borders may divide us, but energy can unite us. Electricity does not respect physical borders. It can be the common economic currency that lifts many of our people from poverty. And this is where the young people enter the story. We need youths who design interconnected renewable systems across borders, build clean tech startup that can scale up after, develop digital tools that reduce 20% to 30% distribution losses, crippling many West African utilities, who can write policy ideas and strengthen AFSEM, WAP, and ACRE. Youth who refuse to think small because the region needs leaders with bold and continental vision. You are not just the future, you are the force shaping the present.
Richard Jan Mensah is the Deputy Minister for Energy and Green Transition. And Kenneth, tonight on PM Express Business, right. Tomorrow is Farmers Day, and we are dedicating our 30-minute discussion to issues about food security. We heard about glut and all those things. And what is our state of preparedness to ensure that we have still adequate supply next year. So we are engaging the Deputy Minister of Agric, that is John Jomelo. He will be joining us. Also, Bismarck Norte of the Peasant Farmers will also be joining us. And also Edward Caraway, he is the Director of Policy and Advocacy with the institution Legal and Entrepreneurship Support Hub, will also be our guest, as well as the Anthony Morrison. He is the Chief Executive of the Chamber of Agribusiness. These 4 distinguished persons in the agri sector will be having some discussion ahead of the Farmers' Day tomorrow on the state of Ghana's food security in the midst of all these glut issues, and going to next year, what is going to happen. So it's at 9 p.m. on Joy News and all our social media channels.
That's an interesting conversation nobody should miss. It's now time for sports, and Benaya is here with the latest. What do you have for us?
Kenneth.
Yeah.
All eyes will be on Washington, D.C., USA tomorrow as the world awaits for the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Well, I've already drawn my predictions for tomorrow's draw. I have Ghana in a group with Spain, Scotland, and Australia. How do you see that?
Not bad. Where will we be based? USA?
It will depend.
Hopefully,
yeah. Yeah. So the draw will take place at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, where the group stage matchups for the first ever 48-team World Cup will be decided. The event kicks off at 5 p.m. Ghana time, and Joy Sports, as you know, will give us the best coverage on Joy Prime from 4 p.m. Now, Joy Sports editor Fentio Tahiru Fentio has shared what viewers should expect from the show tomorrow.
So our 3-hour broadcast of the FIFA World Cup draw will consist of 3 different hours of different kind of content. The first hour will be dedicated to breaking down all the permutations, all the cities, all the draw mechanisms, and everything you need to know about Ghana's participation. The worst case scenario draw for Ghana, best case scenario draw for Ghana, Ghana's journey to the World Cup, what previous World Cup groups look like, and all of that. And then the second hour, which would be from 5 to 6 p.m., would be the actual draw when we join the feed from Washington, D.C. And after that, we will take reactions for the last hour from the draw. So we have ex-players, CK O'Connor, Lai Kingston joining our feed, Rahman Osman as well. So it's a fully packed 3-hour show starting 4 p.m. that will give you everything you need to know about the FIFA World Cup, even cities and what to expect from those cities in case Ghana gets drawn to play any matches in any city. All of that perspective will be brought to you on this show.
So, Kenneth, we hope that whatever happens tomorrow,
yes,
Ghana should be based in the USA.
Okay, even if we don't get USA, at least Canada.
Yeah. But the way boys are wild for USA, if you don't get USA, as in get to stay in USA, Charlie, boys go vex here.
But
So
you're looking very sharp. I thought today
Charlie,
was your wedding day or something.
I mean, you know that we are ready for tomorrow.
Benaya, thank you very much for bringing us
Kenneth.
the latest in sports. Pearl, what do we have next?
Well, President Mahama has sent a clear warning to criminal networks that Ghana will not surrender a single street, community or public space to them. Now, speaking after handing over 40 armored vehicles to the Ghana Police Service, the police headquarters, he said to those who insist on disturbing the peace of Ghana, whether through armed robbery, organized crime, illegal arms trafficking or gang activity, the country's laws will deal decisively with them.
Let me state clearly, our dear country Ghana will not surrender a single street, a community, or any public space to criminals today, tomorrow, or forever. To those who insist on disturbing the peace of our nation, whether through armed robbery, organized crime, illegal arms trafficking, or gang activity, our message is simple. The Ghanaian state is ready. The Ghana Police Service is ready. The laws of this republic will deal decisively with anyone who endangers the safety of our people.
He had that President John Dramani Mahama, Presidential Affairs Correspondent Maxwell Agbaba joins us with more. Maxwell, so the President said that soon the police detachment will be trained on how to use drones for urban surveillance and information gathering. Tell us more about that.
Yes, Bill. So the President mentioned that the 40 armored vehicles are just the first batch of what the police will receive. He says by the end of this month, the police will receive 2 tow trucks. They will also get 10 Corvette operational vehicles, and that every police district will also receive a pickup for patrol duties. And he also mentioned that soon the police detachment is going to be trained on how to use drones for urban surveillance.
And so let me begin by commending the IGP, the Police Management Board, and all the officers and rank and file of the Ghana Police Service. You're doing a good job. Our highways are getting safer because you've taken on the highway robbers and you have dealt with them. People who rob banks, attack people's residences, you have chalked many victories in bringing them to justice. Let me commend the CID too. In the past, there were many unsolved murders. I'm happy to note that recently, many of the murders that occurred with good police intelligence, you've been able to bring the suspects to book. These 40 vehicles are just the first batch. By the end of this month, you receive 2 tow trucks so that anytime any of these vehicles gets immobilized anywhere, you can go and pick the vehicle and bring it back to base. You will also get 10 Corvettes operational vehicles that I have been cautioned not to talk about. It's only you who will know you have them. We want to give every police district a normal pickup for patrol duties. And next year, you receive another 100 light armored Toyota LX pickups. Aside from that, National Security is introducing drones for surveillance. And so there's going to be a police detachment that will be trained how to use drones for urban surveillance and information gathering in any theaters that you are involved in.
Well, Maxwell, the IGP also spoke at the same event.
Yes, he says the police is leaving no stone unturned in ensuring the general safety of all Ghanaians, of all persons living in the country, especially as we prepare, for the Christmas festivities. He said there will be increased patrols and police presence before, during, and after the festivities.
Let me use this opportunity to send a strong word of caution to persons who have decided to disturb the security of this country. We are coming for you. You can run all you want and hide wherever you wish, but we will surely get you. We would also like to assure the public that we continue to ensure safety and security on our roads and within our communities to enable everyone go about their duties without any fear. As the Christmas festivities approach, be rest assured that a comprehensive security arrangement has been put in place before, during, and after the festivities. We urge you to continue to support us, come on board, share information with the police so that together we will continue to make our beloved country one of the safest places in the sub-region. In all these operations, our officers had to go into very challenging territories in the pursuit of very dangerous criminals who are mostly armed and are ready to do anything to evade arrest, including opening fire on our officers. With the protective equipment available to us, we have done our best to minimize casualties as much as possible. But I'm sad to report that on some occasions, we have suffered some casualties. Some of our men have sustained life-threatening injuries, and in some instances, unfortunately, some have paid the ultimate price. It is against this backdrop that I am particularly delighted that today we are receiving these armored vehicles which are going to ensure utmost protection for our officers as they gallantly execute our mandate of protecting life and property.
So that's the IGP Christian Yohonu. And here are a few of your messages that you have been sending to us. This is Musa Abattoir in Aswase in the Ashanti region. He says the arrest of Martin Pigbu is unnecessary and highlights growing concerns about abuse of power and incompetence within the OSP. Instead of strengthening the fight against corruption, the office is undermining it and wasting taxpayers' money. And this is from Gyasi in Sakumono. He says the arguments of the Speaker of Parliament and the Majority Leader are pedestrian in respect to the resources allocated to it. Per their logic, the Attorney General's Department and Yoko, NIB for that matter, have outlived their usefulness. And this is from Sam Bannerman in the USA. He says it's about time the institutions set up by law to do their jobs, which includes the OSP, are allowed to do their jobs. Politicians and influentials in society should not interfere. And this one also says, so the majority had all the behavior of the OSP and Yoko against boys and girls, social media, and Shatawale, and did not talk. Now it's their own. They are crying. Ghana is indeed dead. Sad, he adds. Those are some of the messages that we have been receiving on our WhatsApp console, pal.
And today on Personality Profile, Lexus Bill was speaking to the Sports Minister, Kofi Adams. You don't want to miss that one.
That should be an interesting conversation. But that's how we wrap up tonight on News Night. My name is Kenneth. Gyasi.
My name is Ofori.
Have a good evening.